Well, brother, the era of screaming at the television about all the problems BB is creating 7,000 miles away is over. White Goy Summer has arrived, and White Goy Summer means taking responsibility for your own life instead of outsourcing your soul to rage-bait algorithms, cable news addicts, and podcasters who look like they haven't touched grass since the Obama administration. You know what White Goy Summer is? It's fishing at sunrise. It's grill smoke drifting through the yard. It's knowing your neighbors better than you know the names of foreign ministers. It's realizing your town matters more than some holy war being waged to conjure Jesus back in a place that half these people couldn't point to on a map. No more doom scrolling. No more waking up furious about headlines engineered to keep you addicted and demoralized. No more listening to translated Hitler speeches dreaming of putting Hollywood executives in concentration camps. The people running the spectacle want you exhausted, paranoid, and permanently online while your own community decays right in front of you. Nah. This summer is different. This summer is about personal sovereignty, cultural sovereignty, spiritual sovereignty. It's about reconnecting with your roots, your land, your people, your traditions, and your actual real-world responsibilities. Go camping, learn practical skills, grow food, lift weights, read old books, sit around a bonfire with your friends instead of doom scrolling till 2 a.m., arguing with anonymous avatars with pleb or hodl in their usernames. White Goy, summer means reclaiming your attention span and your dignity. You do not exist to be emotionally manipulated by every crisis cycle on Earth. You exist to build something real. And brother, that starts at home. BB is no longer in control. This summer we are taking back our pride. We are taking back our communities. We are taking back our families. This summer is the summer of the White Goys. White Goy Summer. Because we can't afford to be losers any longer, it is time to win.
Folks, as we are recording this, welcome back to the Bugle Weekly. It is Sunday afternoon, the 24th of May, 2026. Tomorrow is the official last day of being able to ruin your family barbecue or your fishing trip with your cousins. Ruin it crashing out about BB, crashing out about Trump, crashing out, lecturing people about pedophiles. It's time to stop ruining family vacation. Focus on the situation, monitoring the situation. We're not missing anything. All the announcements that you could ever, every possible outcome, every prediction for an announcement. You've already heard it before. Trump is racist. You're a racist. Somebody's a Nazi. People are glazing people. Peter Thiel is worried about the Antichrist. There's aliens in the crust of the earth. There's UFOs. You know, Top Gun, Tom Cruise shot down a UFO. Like, all this stuff there's nothing that's going to surprise you. It's time to take some time off and enjoy family vacation again. And enjoy White Goy Summer. And if you want to crash out about anything, especially you have about 36 hours left to do it. By the time you're listening to this, it's probably too late. What's your plan for a good White Goy Summer? Richard, what is your plan? How are you spending your final hours before White Goy Summer begins?
Lots of sex, lots of time in nature, smoking cigarettes, probably going to read Atlas Shrugged at some point, listening to a lot of good music, going to concerts, playing a lot of good music, traveling around, going to the beach, going to the mountains. Like last night I went to a drive-in movie theater, and that was fun. I went and saw the Star Wars movie and watched a little bit of The Devil Wears Prada, and it's not an appropriate movie for White Goy Summer. It is I'm already enjoying White Goy Summer. I'm already there. I couldn't wait. I didn't feel the need to wait till Memorial Day, for myself. So I'm already deep within it. Going to Lake Satoshi, hanging out with, eating lots of meat, hanging out with good people, hanging out with the podcast listeners. I mean, it's just, I don't know. And I'm over it. I'm over the crash out. I'm over the spectacle. I'm over complaining about BB.
Yeah, when people ask, what is White Goy Summer like? What if you don't golf? What if you don't have a boat? You don't, go jet skiing in the summertime? What if you don't live by the beach? What if you, how do you spend your white boy summer if you live in the Midwest or you live, in, places where the plebs are sparse? And, it's like, it doesn't have to be a huge event. Just white boy summer's about getting out of the shower and doing a little helicopter thing with your bid axe in front of your wife, and then running over and giving her a hug before drying off while she's getting ready for church, and while she's like, trying to push you away and laughing. Like, that's white boy summer. It's about mowing your lawn and listening to Bitcoin podcasts and buying a weed whacker and getting poison ivy and going fishing and, with your retarded nephews who want to just talk about meme coins and XRP coming back and Zcash. White boy summer is about, you gotta monitor the situation closest to home. That's the situation that's where you might find a fun, an exciting, and optimistic new announcement. You might find out somebody's pregnant. You might find out you're going to be an uncle, an aunt, a grandparent. You're having a new cousin. Those are the type of announcements you should be, looking for instead of what's going on in the Strait of Hormuz this summer.
It's about sitting on the deck with your family, your extended family, late in the night, chain smoking cigarettes, getting bit by mosquitoes, and, gossiping about your family members and telling stories about, the fun times that you had together, in the past, and reminiscing. It's about eating watermelon. It's about throwing water balloons at people. It's about, hiding in the backyard, and when your wife comes walking out, surprising her and spraying her with a hose when she's wearing a wet t-shirt, and then telling her tits look good. Like, that is about what we're doing here. It's not about crashing out that Thomas Massey has to get a real job. It's not about, complaining that, the pedophilic ruling class doesn't care about your feelings anymore like they used to. It's not about complaining that your tax dollars are going to Israel. It's like, if you listen to Bitcoin podcasts, you don't really have an excuse at this point about complaining about your tax dollars. Like, if you actually care about where your tax dollars going, you have the ability to exit the system if you want to. It's about taking personal responsibility. If you're upset,
it's about realizing that if you have a bad time at your sister's wedding this summer, you can't blame it on BB now. It's not BB's fault that you got too drunk and got in an argument with your mother-in-law and pissed your pants and made your grandma cry at a bar mitzvah. If that happens this summer, it's not BB's fault. It's about taking personal responsibility, like you said. And what it means to take personal responsibility is to enjoy time with your family, hugging your wife after doing the helicopter with your bid axe. It's about the simple things. And if you can't get your bid axe spinning up this summer, it's not BB's fault.
I mean, it's not like Dennis Porter's he's not even in North Korea anymore. If you can't get your bid axe up, there's something, severely wrong going on. Maybe you need to take some peptides or something. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm really enjoying White Boy Summer so far. And, what do you got in store for White Boy Summer? Like, how are you planning on enjoying it?
I got a lot of things that I got a lot of mosquito bites coming for me during this White Boy Summer, because something we don't talk about enough about is everybody talks about the oppression of the cigarette smoker in the wintertime when they have to go outside and get frostbite on their fingers just to smoke a cigarette, because society has this, it's no story for another day. But they don't talk about what you said earlier, the mosquito bites that the cigarette smokers are forced to endure in the summertime when they have to go smoke cigarettes underneath a big old pole barn light out in a field because you can't smoke inside, and you just get absolutely torn up by mosquito bites. But we do it anyway. That's part of a pioneer. Pioneers get mosquito bites. I'll sum it up that way. You're not a pioneer in the summertime if you're not getting mosquito bites.
It's an important experience to have in our modern society that is so, what's the word? Domesticated in a lot of ways. Like when you have like convenience via things like air conditioning, and you can drive places, you can even have somebody else drive you places for inexpensively with like Uber and stuff like that. We've become very docile and complacent in a lot of ways as a species. And, getting the mosquito bites is really a return back to our roots. It's a grounding experience to experience discomfort in relation to nature. And so when you get mosquito bites, you should be grateful, in my opinion.
If you tell me, Rod, I'm a pioneer, my response will be, show me your sunburn and mosquito bites. Pioneers have sunburns and mosquito bites. You don't make it through 4th of July without sunburns and mosquito bites if you're a pioneer. And, after 4th of July, there's going to be one pioneer out of 2 in the room. We don't have fireworks burns. That almost cost them a trip to the hospital. If you don't have those, I'm not sure you're a pioneer.
Well, it's a productive way to like interact with the food chain. You know what I mean? Because like mosquitoes, in many ways, are the bottom of the food chain, and humans are like the apex predators on Earth, right? So you get bit by a mosquito, and then they go feed, like a frog or something, and then the frog's eaten by like a snake or something, and the snake is eaten by an eagle, and then the eagle poops, and then it grows grass or flowers or whatever, and then a cow eats it, and then you eat the cow. It's part of engaging in the circular economy in regards to food and stuff like that.
There is what we have learned in this civil spoofing attack, in this freedom of speech economy on the timeline, on Twitter especially, is that it's getting harder and harder to tell the difference between plebs and NPCs and AI bots and Claude bots. And what we've learned, is that it's easier to tell in the summertime because plebs who get mosquito bites complain. I mean, plebs complain about everything. So if plebs are actually outside, if they're actually maybe, doing things that are like, if they're real, they probably have mosquito bites. NPCs and Clawbots don't get mosquito bites. NPCs and Clawbots don't get sunburns, and they don't get mosquito bites. And this is an easy way to tell if you're arguing with somebody who's real or an NPC. You can tell by the mosquito bites during White Boy Summer, or just the summer in general.
Absolutely. I mean, should this be a purity test? Like, when you're going out places, like having people like roll up their pants and check if they have mosquito bites around their ankles or, on their arms. Like,
yeah, my point is, when you are lecturing somebody, when you are parading your moral victories, putting them out on display, lecturing people, telling other people how to, spin their vortexes, or telling other people, whether or not they can rent hash or whatever it is, telling people how to live. There's nobody whose bigger priority is BB when they're covered in mosquito bites. It's about finding some tallow lotion for mosquito bites. Who's selling tallow creams to stop making, mosquito bites itch? People, you need to focus on the problems. I get it boils down to mosquito bites. Those are the biggest problems for plebs in the summertime.
Well, I'm looking forward to getting some mosquito bites with other people like Satoshi. It's gonna be a blast. I mean, like those are just like the moments like that I think humans need. There's all this emphasis on like, you know, what does the world look like after AI takes your job or whatever. And I think the way it looks like is you know you're hanging out with other. The nice thing about hanging out with other Bitcoin podcast listeners is you don't have to talk about Bitcoin podcasts because you have like a shared language with them, right? Shared understanding of the world. And so you can sit around the campfire getting bit by mosquitoes and talk about all sorts of other things not pertaining to you know what Jeff Booth said on the latest podcast. But now here's a question I got for you, Rod. And I don't know if I have a strong opinion on this. Are you going all the way? Or like, are you failing if you're not getting mosquito bites on your penis and on your balls when you're sunning your balls?
Well, I mean, that is one of those things where it's like sex on the beach. One of those things that what people like to virtue signal about, or maybe virtue signal's not the right word, but it's one of those things where unless you've done it, you don't know how sandy it is and how uncomfortable it is. And it's like sunning your balls is one of those things. Sunning your balls isn't just, oh, it's a nice warm feeling and it energizes me and it gives me the fortitude and the constitution to conquer my day. No, you're getting mosquito bites on your balls. And nobody wants to walk around in the humidity in the summertime, already trying to keep their balls from sticking to their legs, and also have to itch them in this humidity. It is another example of the revolution. The frontier does not have a good user experience. And people who, you know, they sell you the lifestyle of sunning your balls and looking hot, and then they're not itching their crotch on the podcast stream. Maybe it's AI. Or maybe it's psyop.
Well, I mean, like the nice thing, like if you get your balls all itchy for mosquito bites, there's one good way to scratch them, right? Which is going and having good sex. And we all know the very common characteristic of the plebs is they're not having good sex. Like the plebs aren't good romantics, right?
I mean, I don't think that's coming as a surprise to anybody. But they're not. Yeah, I mean, they're not romantics. But you know, we talked about having mosquito bites and making your balls itchy. What about, you know, does your wife have mosquito bites on her coochie?
It just sounds like
is your wife out there sunning her crotch with you? Because if your wife's out there sunning her crotch with you, then your marriage is only getting half of the energy that it needs every day to be the strongest marriage possible.
Totally. It sounds like a win-win situation. Having itchy genitals both ways. But it's like itchy for the right reason, right? It's not like itchy.
Is your wife out there sunning her milkers? White Boy Summer's about women having the freedom and the right to sun their milkers. If cypherpunks can sun their balls, women can sun their milkers. And they shouldn't be ashamed to.
And this like goes back to like, you know, like the pre-White Boy Summer and the White Boy Summer mentality, you know, like, because there's a lot of people that like to complain about like how a rabbi owns Pornhub or whatever, you know, and they're complaining about porn and, you know, whatever. And it's just like, it doesn't matter when you're having good sex with your wife. You know what I mean? Like, who cares about the rabbi that owns Pornhub? Pornhub's for the plebs.
I need to use a VPN to look at porn on my iPhone. Yeah, you need to have sex with your wife.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have sex with your wife, even if the air conditioner's broken and it's hot and humid in your bedroom. You have to have sex with your wife, even if she, wants to do it in the closet at a wedding this summer. You have to stop going into the closet or hiding out at the family reunion or at a wedding this summer to look at porn on your iPhone. Hide out in the closet and have sex with your wife.
Yeah. It's not BB's fault that you're sitting and jerking off in the stall of the public restroom.
It's not BB's fault the VPN is making it slow because you can't look at porn in your state. It's not BB's fault. You should be in the handicap bathroom with your wife, blazing her milkers. Not complaining about BB.
What's your favorite way to glaze your wife's milkers?
With candle wax.
Interesting.
You heat up some candle wax with your bit axe and you drip it on your wife's milkers. It's great.
But it's like tallow candle wax, right? Because like most candles are soy and pretty toxic.
Oh yeah. You want tallow candle wax on your wife's milkers. You don't want all these Chinese chemicals on your wife's milkers.
Yeah, you don't want to whack out her hormones and then she'll start becoming a feminist or something, driving a Subaru.
No, I mean, if the chemicals are turning the frogs gay, it may be turning your wife bisexual. Maybe some plebs and pioneers are interested in that. So don't get that idea. There's better ways to do it.
So you recently did a new album that I want to hear about.
Well, yes, it is one more summer, one more edit. It's about Paper Bitcoin Summer, and it is about not giving up, and it's about trying to make Paper Bitcoin a success. But what is the cost? What is the trade-off? Is it worth it? Or are you just going to get blood pill over and over and over again? Paper Bitcoin Summer is going on alongside White Boy Summer, but people are done glazing Paper Bitcoin Summer, no matter how much you back. And, it's an album about realizing that.
So how do you think the summer is going to go for paper Bitcoin this year? It seems like, the pubs are getting rowdy. They're mad at Naka. They're dunking on David Bailey, accusing
I
him
think pipe investors are going to have a great Paper Bitcoin Summer, just like they did last year. And that's part of the album is not learning that the pipe investors are going to they're going to use plebs as exit liquidity. So what they do, pipe investors use plebs as exit liquidity, and there's going to be a lot more exit liquidity this year. And I think it's going to take away from Paper Bitcoin Summer because you're going to have Anthropic and SpaceX and Tether and 21 all going public. And it's going to be, their valuations are in the trillions. And it's the plebs are going to be lining up like it's Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, to get into Best Buy and fight over trinkets. They're going to be lining up to be exit liquidity this summer and fall. And Letter's going to be able to say, I told you so to the plebs once again, when this is all said and done.
Makes sense. Yeah, I don't really know. I heard a crazy story this week. So, the past week, last Friday was Bitcoin Pizza Day. I don't know if you celebrated, but I celebrated. I went to the meetup, and I was talking to a fella at the meetup, and he told me that Stacker News, the way they're funding their operation right now is they're buying STRC, and the yield that they're earning off of STRC is funding their operations and expenses. This is the first, business model of its kind I've heard of, and I was surprised it was Stacker News doing that.
Well, the Stacker News guys, those guys love prediction markets. They love being on the frontier of using Bitcoin as money. And, right, it's also the summer of eCash, and like, people are starting to realize that you could build the entire MicroStrategy, STRC, MSTY, STK, like all the preferreds. You could run this entire strategy on eCash. And people are starting to like build these, eCash solutions. Everybody's fighting over they're trying to fight over the brand of eCash. Yeah, Paul Sports, he's going to fork Bitcoin and do drive chains, and he's calling his on-chain thing eCash. You got Cashew Wallet with Cowie, and you've got Fedimints and their eCash. You got Liquid, which is basically an overly complicated, federated eCash. You got anything can be eCash, really. And there's no real way that you can gatekeep what eCash is. And what do you think about the eCash thing?
Polish eCash or regular eCash? Or just like the...
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, there's a new flavor of eCash. So like the Stacker News guys and they're the prediction market people and the eCash, they're realizing that people are always going to complain about L2s. But there's still a chance that someone might use one. And they're trying to figure out what that will be.
I mean, it feels like to me with L2s, what's essentially happening right now is kind of what happened with Bitcoin and altcoins, right? Where everybody's altcoin was, more scalable, more TPS, more decentralized, more, whatever. They
More
all had
private.
more private. They all had their, whatever their marketing, spin was. And it just seems like Lightning is so far ahead. Like, I've had people like send me eCash before. And, I just like, I don't understand it. Like, so you're telling me after years of using the Lightning Network, which to some degree works pretty well, and using Bitcoin on chain, that I have to get my wife to learn a new thing.
Right.
So like we instead of having sex, I have to ask my wife to learn how to use eCash. Does that make any sense?
No, I think of the revelation here. It's two parts. Alex Gladstein has been going back and forth with the Zcash and Monero community for the past week or so. And Alex Gladstein is saying nobody can prove that Zcash is more private than Lightning. Lightning is the most private, and it's got the best user experience, and that's the other thing. It boils down to an irony, but a poetic irony, a empowering one. That it's like when you're in the woods and you realize you don't have to outrun the bear. You just have to outrun the pudgy pleb you're going camping with. That's with Lightning. Lightning doesn't have to work better than all these other systems. It doesn't have to work better than eCash, but custodial Lightning just has to have a better user experience than eCash, and it wins. And when it comes to user experience, nothing beats custodial Lightning.
It's true. It works. People like to make fun of it.
Think about it. You have to trust on eCash. You still have to trust somebody on eCash not to rug you. Same with custodial Lightning. So, would you rather trust anonymous mint operators or, app developers with masks? Or would you rather trust Jack Dorsey and Jack Mallers? I mean, anytime Neat Creations, has a problem with custodial Lightning, maybe a transaction fails, or there's, pays a fee, the app pays a fee for him that was way too high than the market would have cost. Neat Creations complains and he gets a refund. You don't necessarily get a refund from some of these shady eCash operators. And that user experience is, it's unbeatable. You get an opportunity to get an apology from Jack Mallers and your money back. That's what boomers want from banks. They just want the customer service. They want the glaze and their money back. And that's what you're getting it with custodial Lightning. And that's why it's beating eCash right now.
Yeah, but the thing with custodial Lightning is, different about eCash is you can send it to non-custodial Lightning wallets. You can send it to other custodial Lightning wallets, but if you're trying to send eCash amongst each other, you have to be on the same mint, and you're limited by it, right?
It's like you can only, it's like being stuck only being able to transact with other people in the Orange Pill app, except for it's your it's an eCash mint, and you don't even have a profile picture and a chat history to go by.
I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's like, I guess maybe where eCash can make the most sense is for a group chat that it already exists. If you already have a strong group chat, you guys can set up an eCash mint, and you can, maybe it's the church group, maybe it's the men's group at your church, maybe it's that group chat, maybe it's your family group chat, maybe it's people from work, maybe whatever. You can have an eCash mint with them. And that could make more sense. But trying to create an eCash group chat, that's probably going to be a very tiresome and highly fraught experience.
Yeah, makes sense. But I don't even understand why you would create like a eCash mint with your group chat when you just have a Lightning bot.
Fees, I guess. If you're really, really strict on fees, you have fewer fees to trade within the mint, and you have few fees. You have few fees going between Cash App to Cash App or Stripe to Stripe. But, with Lightning, it's like if you're gonna send it to other apps, those apps are going to be competing with it and taking higher fees potentially. Definitely if it's Moon Wallet. Prime Trust could have been, eCash. Maybe it would have gone better if they use it like eCash. Or maybe that's the problem. Maybe Prime Trust was using their funds like eCash, and that's why it's screwing over all the people who were on there.
So I know that Prime Trust is trying to claw back podcasters from Swan. I think this is unprecedented.
This pulls in the question, like, if they're clawing back Stephen Lepka, he's not even at Swan anymore. Stephen Lepka is with David Bailey, and clawing back a podcaster from David Bailey, and Nakamoto that's going to be a loss of value, and that's going to be just another fuel for article by Justin Batchelor. It's not going to look good. It's going to have like a domino effect, because you're going to have like these podcasters like Sam Callahan. He's down in Brazil at the Orange Paper Bitcoin Company. He's got to come back to be distributed just to the buyer of highest bidder in the Prime Trust bankruptcy. What's going on here?
Yeah,
Tomer's going to be sold off to the highest bidder. What?
The whole situation is just very strange watching, and it seems like Prime Trust. I was listening to Bitcoin and David was doing a breakdown of the lawsuit, and it sounded like Corey had a secret group chat. That's what Prime Trust is alleging, and that he got inside info. He was able to withdraw all of his XRP just in the nick of time. And so Prime Trust is alleging that, had that not happened, instead of Corey keeping all of his XRP, he would have lost it all. And so, they're trying to, claw back the podcasters. They're trying to claw back other funds. And, do you think Corey still has the XRP? Is he hodling?
Dude, that was the big reveal. I mean, this is on like a much bigger scale, but very similar to a couple of years ago in Nashville when Terrence Yang was caught trading ordinals in the men's bathroom. Corey was caught transferring his XRP to gossip in the group chat from, who has that information? We don't know. It could have been somebody in the CIA. It could have been somebody at Prime Trust. That going to be this, somebody from the CIA who worked for Prime Trust. Could be anybody, but that information revealed a lot of things. And it's, there was rumors that Swan was owned by XRP and that they were invested, backed by Ripple. And there was information that the Swan was going to buy Ripple or partner with Ripple. They were partnering with Tether, but it just turns out that Corey hodls XRP. That's what the smoke where their fire was. It was just that Corey was a secret fucking XRP army target.
I mean, the plebs get really mad at me when I say, we're all shitcoiners in the eyes of the Lord. And some of us more than others. But there's kind of like the situation of like the mega church pastor that gets disgraced for having an affair. This is what it feels like to me. It's
that, but it's also got like the, if you held up a microscope to all of our on-chain activity, to all of our hardware wallets that we've had throughout the years, you would find that, like you said, we're all shitcoiners in the eyes of the Lord. But to get exposed for it to become publicity and to be as lame as XR, like it's so funny that Corey thinks that he's so cool and he's like so esoteric and different. And he's called his shitcoin of choice is XRP. It just tells you a lot about somebody because there's a lot of guys out there with their shitcoin of choice is Litecoin. And it's like, that's like the libertarians. The libertarians are the ones who think Litecoin's just like, it's going to make it, it's going to win. It's going to be just because on principle, it's on the right side of history. And then you've got, just the fucking like Zeke. Everybody's got a secret shitcoin and it just reveals a lot. And Corey's being XRP is the funniest outcome, in my opinion.
It's funny because like the XRP maxis, their bull case is that central banks are going to use it and banks are going to use it for cross-border payments, right? Like they're bullish on the banking system, or that's what they're arguing.
It's their hedge, right? Like Corey was hedging by betting on Choke Point 2.0 to work.
Yeah, it's what do you think? Like the fallout is I haven't really seen the plebs go hard on this. We don't see Dick Whitman calling Corey the retard of the day or anything like that yet. Like, do you think Plebslot Pokemon cards is going to retire the most valuable Bitcoiner trading card, or is there going to be anything like that? The revelation that Corey is a Ripple tard comes to the surprise of absolutely no one. And at this point, it's like like we said earlier, it's like saying that Donald Trump is sexist. Giving a new example of why Donald Trump is sexist. We know. Hashtag, we know. So saying Corey is a shitcoiner is like, we know. This is another reason why, like, you could be out fishing with your father-in-law
getting bit by mosquitoes, getting sunburns, instead of, oh, I'm going to miss the announcement that Corey's a shitcoiner. Don't want to miss that. No, it's nothing surprises us anymore. And that is why I think you're just seeing the plebs they've got other things to crash out about. They're still crashing out about BB. Corey's in the rearview mirror now.
Yeah. Well, before we go into the fountain booths, there's some stuff going on. There's a big sports car race today. My family group chat is buzzing right now as they're all talking about that, the Indy 500. It truly is a great event in American. It's like the Midwest Super Bowl.
It would be the Indy 500 would be the perfect place for Tatum Turnup to ask somebody to get married to him, and Aubrey Strobel get engaged in the infield of the Indy 500. That'd be the perfect. But there should be a podcast from the Indy 500. Honestly,
I mean, we'll know it's hyper Bitcoinization when Tatum is DJing in the Snake Pit in the middle of the Indy 500 and he stops the show to propose.
Pioneers will get sunburned at the Indy 500 this year.
Yeah. There was a really sad day this week. Kyle Busch died at the age of 41. True real American sports car driver. That was sad.
Yeah.
He was a staple. I mean, it's just like you're a NASCAR driver. Your last name is Busch, like Busch Beer, or Busch Light. Like
you're a walking stereotype of a patriot, a patriotic American who loves, going fast, chasing ass, renting hash.
Absolutely. I don't know about you, but Busch Light was the first beer I ever drank.
But yeah, Busch Light is the king of beers for sure. I think that goes without saying these days.
You think so? You think so more than Pabst?
I think Pabst is kind of a hipster beer at this point. I think that the blue collar man, the farmer, the pioneer, the outlaw hasher, they're drinking Busch Light.
Did you watch the Kevin Hart roast?
I didn't watch the whole thing. I only saw highlights and clips and fallout.
I watched a few minutes of it, and I had to turn it off. It just wasn't interesting. I saw the people crashing out about it. I mean, this is like, what White Guy Summer is about. It's about going out, enjoying life instead of crashing out about comedy specials.
Yeah. I mean, it is. Shane Gillis, people love Shane Gillis. Some people hate Shane Gillis. I think crashing out about whether or not Shane Gillis is a Democrat or Republican, or if Shane Gillis is liberal, or Shane Gillis is funny. People have made up their minds at this point. It's like, if you don't like Shane Gillis, hashtag, we know. Argue about some other comedian. You know what I mean? Like, if they're on a roast on Netflix, we know your opinion of them. We don't care. That's all that kind of content is now, is they're putting people up there to get everyone fighting and arguing about, is Sydney Sweeney's tits, are they hot? Is Shane Gillis funny? Is Chelsea Handler hot? We've had these arguments so many times. It's like Bellator. It's like these 57-year-old fighters bash each other's brains in, giving each other one last dose of CTE. It's like, we know who Chuck Liddell wins between Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz. We don't need to see it the 11th time.
It's a good way to compare it. Yeah, absolutely. Well, you got any other topics before we roll in the fountain booze?
No. Let's do it. Let's hit it. Let's kick off let's kick off White Goy Summer.
Hell yeah. First boost, Shasha Hod, or 5,555 sats, says, great show, enjoying the subscriber content too, and the music. Well, glad you're enjoying it. Thank you for being a subscriber to the show, Sasha. And yeah, make sure to check out Rod's new album on, do you publish it on Spotify yet, or is it still just on Wavelake?
It's coming on Spotify in the next week or two. But yes, it's on Wavelake, complete album. You can check it out. It is another summer, one more summer, one more edit by Rod Palmer. Yeah, it's also, I know she's ready for White Goy Summer. She's probably on a jet ski right now, getting a sunburn, or out running on the beach getting a sunburn. Next one, another guy, 5,000 sats, another guy's getting a sunburn, and who is not only getting mosquito bites, who is getting bugs crashing on his face while he's riding his motorcycle. It's Bubba, 5,000 sats. Well, I can help the younger fucks out there. Many years of perfecting the art of manipulating the woman's manipulation. In short, play dumb and not quite up to snuff cleaning. When she says to clean the dishes or other things, do it, but don't do it well. She will get sick of your slack and just do it herself. Laundry, folded clothes, just like you don't care. And again, she will tire of it and do it herself. Cooking, same thing. This works with girlfriends or wives. Trust me. You must manipulate the manipulation. I'm a giver of knowledge, and that's 40 plus years of case study. Play dumber than she is, but be smart about it. So that is, Bubba, he's such a gossip. He's such a drama queen. He loves to play. He's like Mars. Bubba's like a boomer Mars. He loves to play the reality drama of the relationship, of the manipulation, of the game theory between wives and husbands, boyfriends and girlfriends. And I bet you Bubba could also give some good advice to lesbian couples. I bet you Bubba really gets along with like the butch lesbians. And I bet you Bubba has had some game theory sessions comparing trophies, like how good they are manipulating the manipulation in a relationship. And I think that their wives probably absolutely know what they're doing and are rolling their eyes and being like, oh, they think they're so smooth. They know. If you ask Bubba's wife, or like a big old butch lesbian's wife, he asked them what was going on, they'd say hashtag we know. But that is a good old fashioned boomer way of looking at things, and that's why we love them.
Totally. And it's one of those things
blaze of truth.
It's one of those things that goes both ways, right? Where like there's some things you don't want your wife doing on her own. And it's important that you show up and, do it really well so that she doesn't feel like it's necessary to do it on her own, right? Like you got to please her in the bedroom. You got to drive well. Got to clean the gutters. You don't want your wife up on the roof cleaning the gutters by herself, right? Stuff like that.
It's the millennials, the younger generations will try to glaze the relationship with their significant other and pretend they're not manipulating each other. But really that's what it boils down to. And having self-awareness. And Bubba does not glaze it. Thank you, Bubba. Good advice.
Very good advice. Next booze, 2,323 sats from KT. Says, any booze can be sex symbols with proper marketing, glaze, and simple appreciation. Every good relationship should have manipulation for both sides that maximize each other's potential. Any form of manipulation run for any other form of manipulation run for the hills. Signal chats validated. The feature holds Bugle matchmaking services in Lake Satoshi karaoke. I will be cheering on both from the sidelines.
AT, mirroring what Boomer said. It is an art.
I was talking a little bit to KT this week. She's ready for White Boy Summer. That's for sure. But yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Like, you want to be maximizing each other's potential for sure. I mean, super, super lame, like loser energy, you know, if you're trying to make somebody less better. You know what I mean? Absolutely. You should run for the hills.
Next one from Doom Satoshi, 521 sats. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Doom.
Silent Stormbrook, 121 sats, said big milk or boost, and then 2 cups of milk.
101 sats from Noster Gang. Small boobs are thermodynamically sound. Did the Itty Bitty Titty Committee rank this boost? No, I'm just kidding. Small boobs are thermodynamically sound. And they are hot, just like big ones.
I had this amazing experience this week. It was really funny where I was out at a concert and, was in a conversation, with 3 women, and they were all ranting about how great small boobs are. And then this guy proceeded to start lecturing me on how you can't bring women with big milkers everywhere because they just get in the way. And it just happened organically. I didn't say anything. It's pretty wild. BTC on board, 100 sats, 2 smiling emojis.
And from Zyoxy, 100 sats. Haven't heard the episode, but you got the boobs. That's right. You're on to us.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like I was talking to, some people about open mouth thumbnails this week and, and some, YouTube influencers and how it does numbers. Like we need to get back to boobs being the clickbait that, people want to click on instead of, guys with their mouths hanging open. But, folks, I want to thank our subscribers. Appreciate you guys. Used to read a lot. Dave, Lahov, Shadrack, BTC on board, Boomer, Sasha, Fundamentals, Sean, Late Stage Huddle, Turkey, Open Mic, and Avi Burra. Appreciate you guys. Rod, you got anything before we wrap this one up?
Nope. Enjoy White Boy Summer.
Folks, thank you for tuning in to this very special episode of the Bugle Weekly. And this is a special episode because we are on the cusp of White Boy Summer. The world is going to change. This is the first turning, and we will talk to you soon.